Well, they finally got me. After years of seeing Love Live gifs and gotcha pulls on social media and saying, well, yeah, she's kinda cute, I guess. After ceaseless prodding from friends like Liam, Miles, and Thomas. After a year where A Place Further Than the Universe reminded me of just how much I specifically love shows about girlfriends supporting each other, and Review Starlight and Uma Musume even got me to have fun watching them dancing and singing on a stage, I really thought I'd manage to hold out. But Zombieland Saga cracked me. I'm pretty sure I like idol anime now. When I have some free time, I'm gonna go watch Love Live to test out that hypothesis, and then some Macross, and I'll probably go back and give Idolmaster another shot too. And you know what? I'm looking forward to it. So if you see me waving glow sticks around, standing a full foot above the sea of people doing the same at next year's Anime Expo Idol concerts, you'll at least know who to blame as you prepare to mercy kill me. Okay, maybe I'm exaggerating a bit, but I have always had this lingering apprehension toward idol anime. I missed the boat with getting into Love Live. I really deeply hated the POV gimmick in the first episode of The Idolmaster, and most of the new idol franchises that have come out since I started this channel and therefore had an incentive to broaden my anime horizons either failed to capture my attention with their first episodes or were straight up dog shit. No offense meant to the, 5 Idol Jihen fans out there, you do you. I was also more than a little put off by the idea of an anime glorifying and romanticizing an industry that thrives on turning human beings into commodities, but I like Shirobako, and it's not like the anime industry is any better about worker exploitation, so that was probably just an excuse. And either way, Zombieland Saga has managed to break through that wall of cynicism as well. It's kind of a perfect gateway drug for those wary of idol anime's charms. And I think that's because Zombieland Saga starts from the same place as most of those idol-wary anime fans will, a position of unambiguous cynicism in regard to the idol business. In the opening scene of the series, we see Sakura Minamoto, a bright-eyed, bushy-tailed high school junior, singing along to an idol DVD as she gets ready for school and monologuing about how she's finally gonna break out of her shell and be the girl she's always wanted to be when she auditions for her favorite idol group. Then she gets hit by a truck. It's an uproariously funny way to start a series, but it also acts as a clear thesis statement, suggesting that the bubbly, thoughtless optimism embodied by idols and moe anime is out of step with a real world where at any moment you can just suddenly up and fucking die. Twice in short order if you wake up as a zombie, run screaming from the other zombies around you, and happen to run into an inept bike cop who shoots first and asks questions never. But the show is not done taking potshots at idols by a long shot. Shortly after Sakura awakens, we're introduced to Tatsumi Kotaro, an abrasive, boorish, arrogant, and kinda stupid man in ostentatious clothes who plans to manage Sakura and the other legendary zombie girls into the upper echelons of idol stardom, whether they like it or not. All in an effort to save Japan's underpopulated and largely irrelevant Saga Prefecture. Somehow. It's not actually clear what Saga is being saved from exactly, or how idols will save it. This really just seems like a bid to moderately increase tourism, which might actually work in the real world. I definitely want to visit the real drive-in Tori the next time I'm in Japan. But you can't have an idol anime without some kind of stakes, no matter how flimsy and artificially inflated they might be, so I guess those will have to do. In case you haven't cottoned on, that plan is meant to poke fun at the idol anime genre and the way that shows like Love Live contrive plots like we have to become famous idols to save our school as an excuse to get a bunch of cute girls with clashing personalities to dance on stage together. And even though I'm not exactly an idol anime expert, I definitely get the impression that moments like when Sakura tries to encourage the group only to be smacked in the face and told no, they shouldn't give up when that was what she was saying, as well as the moment when they finally come up with a name by reading way too hard into the legendary Tai Yamada's sneezes, are also wry parodies of idol anime tropes. If I'm wrong about that, feel free to correct me in the comments, idol fans. Meanwhile, Tatsumi is a not-so-subtle and none-too-flattering caricature of the stereotypical idol manager. A man who sees the girls under his care not as people, which in this case they actually aren't anymore, but that's not really a good reason, but rather as tools for advancing his own ambitions. He starts every meeting with the idols half-heartedly trying to whip up their enthusiasm, and when it inevitably fails or one of them says something wrong, he rapidly shifts into hurling abuse. Mostly at Sakura. His vision for these idols doesn't have anything to do with passion for pop music. In fact, the genre of music is so irrelevant that he starts them off doing heavy metal, hip-hop, and commercial jingles, and he doesn't really care about the girls either. We see him running off to do tourist shit while they have to practice on their hot spring trip. His sole ambition seems to be to bring together a group of cute girls and parade them in front of as many people as humanly possible in order to generate money and public interest. And the conceit of zombie idols is particularly brilliant for poking fun at this attitude because it exaggerates to the logical extreme the way that idols have to hide their true selves beneath a public persona. If Sakura and her friends ever show their true faces to the world, it won't just be a scandal, they'll literally be hunted down and killed, at least according to Tatsumi. Everything about the first few episodes of Zombieland Saga suggests that it was gearing up to present a merciless mockery of the idol business and the anime that glorify it. And it was, right up until it really wasn't anymore. The shift is subtle. After the heartwarming moment where the idols manage to capture the attention of one little girl in the crowd with their flash mob and make her smile, the silly parody team building of episode 3 gives way to scenes of the girls wandering through Ureshiro together and starting to build genuine friendships with each other in episode 4. The humor keeps up throughout. The horror scene where the girls are caught in the bath is a laugh riot, but the show starts slowly easing out of its ironic detachment from the zombie girls and starts taking them seriously as characters. Before I knew it, I'd developed a deep attachment to Zombieland Saga's cast. And I didn't just think they were adorable based on their appearance or superficial personality traits, I was invested in the growth of these characters that I'd come to know, and I wanted to know more about the ones who hadn't gotten their spotlight yet. It made me happy to see these girls supporting each other and sad to see their differences push them apart. By the end of episode 8, I was shedding tears for them. And so was my girlfriend Yazzie, who is much tougher than me, so that's not me being a pansy. Well, it's not just me being a pansy. To top it all off, I've found myself really digging the music and the performances. The energy of both the girls on stage and the ever-growing crowds in front of them gets infectious the more you watch this show. Plus, the songs are really damn catchy and they carry a lot of weight for how they connect to the themes of each episode. When Yazzie and I were talking about how great the Zombieland Saga OST would be when it finally gets released, I turned to her and I said, "Man, I would kill to see Franshushu do a hologram concert." And that was when I knew. I liked the music, I loved the girls, I'd go out of my way to see a concert if the opportunity arose. I would probably buy glow sticks too. I was no longer enjoying Zombieland Saga's idol elements ironically, I had just become a regular idol fanboy. And I'm okay with that. In part because on its way to making me love these girls and their music, Zombieland Saga tips its hand and reveals that, harsh as its criticism of certain aspects of the business might be, its parody is born out of a genuine love for idols as a concept. The early development of Franshushu as a unit and of Sakura as a character is built around the girls discovering how performing can empower them, let them express themselves, and make them happy. And with every show they perform, we see how they can bring that happiness to their fans, brighten their days, and bring people together. Lily is able to connect with and soothe the soul of her Poppy through song, and Saki manages to end a conflict between two biker gangs by bringing them together at a concert. The show takes a 180 from its jarring opening gag and cynical thesis statement to show how idols can unambiguously make the harsh, dangerous, painful real world around them a better place. It clearly sees a lot of real value in its subject matter, and the writers have clearly done their research on it too. The conflict in episodes 6 and 7 between Junko and Ai is rooted in a thorough understanding of the history of the idol industry. It's a clash between the philosophy of the aloof, untouchable idols of the 80s and the idols you can meet concept that has defined the social media age. And instead of condemning either approach, the show makes good cases for both, arguing arguing that both images of what an idol should be can coexist and complement each other. And it goes several steps further in that regard, pushing a lot of boundaries. Transgender idols exist in real life, but aside from Goku dolls who played up the concept for arguably mean-spirited laughs, Zombieland Saga is the first anime, to my knowledge, to really explore the idea, and it treats Lily with respect as a character without ever suggesting that she's anything other than one of the girls. Saki has a violent history and a hell of an attitude, but with her passion pointed in the right direction, it makes her a better idol, not a worse one, just like it makes her best friend a better mom. And then there's Yugiri, the legendary Oiran. Oiran were exceptionally popular women in Edo and Meiji era Japan who entertained through music as well as traditional arts like tea ceremonies, calligraphy, and flower arrangement. Their beauty was the subject of many paintings, and they often sparked fashion trends with their celebrity. With Zombieland Saga's eye on history, it makes sense for Yugiri to be part of Franshushu, because in many ways you could argue that Oiran were the idols of their day, with one small but significant caveat: they were also high-class prostitutes, which is conceptually about as far as it is humanly possible to get from the manufactured purity of modern idols, who are not even allowed to have boyfriends for fear that it will hurt their brand. And it is interesting, to say the least, that Zombieland Saga, which clearly wants its audience to become genuine fans of its idols, is going directly against conventional marketing wisdom by giving us an idol that we know has had sex lots of times with lots of guys for lots of money, for what that's worth. I expect that in the next episode, which is slated to focus on Yugiri, we're going to see this conflict explored, and I expect that it's going to end with an endorsement of Yugiri's flaunted sexuality. Because at its heart, Zombieland Saga seems to be making an argument about how femininity is presented in the idol industry and idol anime. With Lily, Saki, and soon Yugiri, we're seeing models of femininity that differ from the delicate purity that idol culture centers around. A little trans girl, a badass biker chick, and a woman who flaunts her sexuality. And I think the case the show is making is that all these kinds of feminine strength have a place in the idol business. They deserve to be celebrated. And that pure image does too. Remember, the show doesn't condemn how Ai or Junko present themselves at all, but it's no more or less valid, no more or less deserving than any of the other images we see in Franshushu's lineup. In an ideal world of idols, everyone has a place, just like there's plenty of room in the crowd for metalheads, businessmen, biker chicks, and idol fanboys. If I can make one more prediction, I'm guessing that the final episode of this show will involve the girls outing themselves as zombies and being accepted by their fans anyway, especially Tai. But now I'm getting a little bit into the weeds. In making this case, Zombieland Saga has given me the idols that I always wanted to see. But it's also highlighted to me the value and appeal of the more standard model idols that Ai and Junko represent, and that Sakura aspired to be before her romantic morning walk encounter with Truck-kun. And in showing their appeal unironically, it has finally broken down the last resistance I had toward enjoying those kinds of shows too. I have no idea if I'm going to enjoy Love Live anywhere near as much as I do Zombieland Saga, because I know that it's going to be lacking in that character diversity, but I also know that it's got much better CGI dance segments, so that might end up being a wash. Either way, I'm eager to find out. And I'm grateful to Zombieland Saga both for breaking down the last wall, keeping me from trying out this new genre, which I might really love, and for making steps to change it for the better. Let me know in the comments below who your favorite idol is out of all the idol shows and why it's still the legendary Tai Yamada. And while you're down there, don't forget to hit that subscribe button if you want to see more videos from me every week, and hit the like button if you like the video. I'm Geoff Thew, professional shitbag, signing out from my mother's basement.